Good morning, Algebra students. Before you begin the Chapter 1-1 homework, I want to take time to review the notes that you practiced with yesterday. As you are working through writing expressions and writing equations, you do have this cheat sheet from when you were in pre-algebra that you could always reference back to see what different words mean. Or take a screenshot of this to have on hand for you to look at. But I want you to pull out your note packet and open up to page 1. And I'm going to go through and talk about each of these, the answers, the things that I will look for. So when you do the Chapter 1-1 homework, you have a better understanding of the concept. So for each of these, you had to write a verbal expression for each algebraic expression. So basically, you had to take the math and put it into words. I talked a little bit yesterday that when you see a number next to a variable, you cannot just write 23f, but you actually have to write the operation that is going on between them. So in this case, I could say 23 times f. You could say 23 multiplied by f, or the product of 23 and f. For these algebraic expressions, you're going to find that there can be multiple ways to write this. Looking at number 2, here I have the number 7, and there's kind of maybe two options you could have. You could say 7 to the third power, or you could say 7 cubed. Both of them are going to reference this little 3 that we see here. Okay, we want to make sure to write out the numbers in words as well. Now, if I'm looking at number 3, I might say 5 times, remember I got to put that operation in there, m squared plus 2. So it's almost like you're writing it just like you would say it. If I want to get a little fancy for number 4, I might say something like the difference of 4 times d cubed and 10. Oops, I almost write that out in words. There you go. I might even say 4 times d to the third power minus 10 would be fine. Sometimes it's fun to get creative and different than just the more straightforward way. Number 5 would look something like x to the third power, or cubed, times y to the fourth power. Number 6, we got lots of powers in here. I might say b squared minus 3 times c cubed. Or I could say b squared minus the product of 3 and c cubed. So you can see there are differences you can have for them. Number 7, I want to make sure to show this division, and I can't just say the word over, because over doesn't really mean an operation. So it might look something like k to the 5th power divided by 6. Oops. Or I could also say something like the quotient of k to the 5th power in 6 would be all right as well. Number 8, maybe I'm going to use that word quotient. The quotient of the product, I'm going to get fancy on you. The quotient of the product 4 and n squared and 7. The quotient of the product 4 and n squared, I'm going to put that in commas in there just to know that I'm doing that, and 7 is the other one. Or you might say 4 times n squared divided by 7, or n to the second power would work as well. But your goal is just to take those expressions and write them using words, making sure you're writing out the numbers and everything. And again, the biggest thing is not to just say 4n squared, but make sure you show the operation that is happening between that 4 and n squared. All right. If you have questions, make some notes and let me know tomorrow as well. Now, when we're looking at this one, you're just doing the reverse. So we're taking the words that they gave us and we're going to write them as expressions. So I look for keywords like the difference of 10 and u would just simply be 10 minus u. Sum, I know that means to add the sum of 18 and a number. If they don't give you that number, you can choose to use whatever variable you would like. Doesn't matter. I chose an X. It could be an A. Doesn't matter. Product. Product means to multiply. So 33J. We want to get in the habit of not putting a multiplication sign between a number and a variable. As we get into algebra, we just want to simply write it right next to each other, but know the operation that's happening. 74 increased by 3 times y. So 74 is being increased by 3 times y. And when we're looking at these types of problems where they're straight out verbal phrases just about math, not word problems or things like that, you have to write it in the same order that I write it here. 15 decreased by twice a number. 15 decreased by, well, twice means to multiply it by 2. So it'd be 15 minus 2x. Number 14 has that word we said to watch for when we did this in pre-algebra. More than the square of a number. More than means it comes where? At the end. So your plus 91 needs to be at the end because it's 91 more than the square of a number. To square a number means to put it to the power 2. So x squared plus 91 in that order would be the correct way to write this algebraic expression. Number 15 says 3/4 the square of b. So 3/4 of a number is usually found by taking 3/4 and multiplying it by that number, but we're multiplying it by the square. You could have parentheses here, but you don't necessarily need to because you're going to do the power anyways first. The last one is 2/5 the cube of a number, and to cube a number means to put it to the power of 3. So 2/5 times b to the 3rd power. Okay. Questions on any of those? If you do have questions, please feel free to just reach out to me today. All right, I'm going to have you flip to page 2 in your note packet, and we're going to go through 17 and 18 together because you'll see some of these in the chapter 1-1 homework. So the first one says, a used bookstore sells paperback fictions in excellent condition for $2.50. And then it sells in fair condition for 50 cents. Write an expression for the cost of buying X excellent books and F fair condition books. So I want to find the cost. So that means I'm going to be adding together the two costs. All I know is that my excellent conditions cost $2.50 and I bought X of them. So that would be $2.50 times X plus, now I know what the fair conditions, they cost 50 cents and I bought F of them. So this would be the expression that represents that scenario. Typically when you're writing an expression with math where you're going to end up solving it, when it becomes an equation, you will not put the dollar signs in there. You'll just use the straight numbers. You can pause the video and try number 18 or just keep listening. It says the surface area of the side of a right cylinder can be found by multiplying twice, so that means 2, twice the number pi. We're multiplying that by the radius times the height. If a cylinder has a radius of r, so if they do give you those variables, you want to make sure you use that, and a height of h. So the surface area would be 2 pi RH is really what I could write for all of them. I don't need those multiplication signs for that. All right. Questions on any of those? All right. So now you're going to go in and do chapter 1-1 homework on a piece of loose leaf for me. Please take your time on this and think carefully about them. Some of these will be used for a formative assessment when I return tomorrow. All right. Have a great day.